2022 is now in full throttle, so the new releases are about to drop, and this Friday, the first animated film of the year drops on Prime Video. This is my review of Hotel Transylvania 4 Transformania. When Van Helsing's monstrification ray goes haywire, Drac and his monster pals turn human while Johnny himself turns into a monster. And so Drac and Johnny have to team up and travel across the globe before these changes become permanent. Now, before I properly start with my review for Hotel Transylvania Transformania, I want you to let me know your thoughts on just this franchise as a whole. If you're excited for this one, do you like the previous ones, anything and anything down in the comments below. Start the conversation because it's always the most important part. And if you like movies and TV, this is the place to be. So make sure you consider clicking that subscribe button so you don't miss any future conversation on your favorite movies and TV. For context, how I feel about the previous films, the first one is a nice little surprise coming from Genndy Tartakovsky, someone I'm a huge fan of. He inserts all his energy into that first one, and then the other ones kind of exist, doesn't offer anything new or refreshing or interesting. And the third one, I think it's a bad movie, but I think it's creatively bad. Transformania is kind of the better out of the sequels in this franchise. This one feels creative, it feels fresh, it feels like they had an interesting idea and they explored it in interesting ways, where the dynamic of Dracula and Johnny changes because one becomes human, another becomes a monster, and there are a few fun gags that come with it, along with the rest of the monsters being turned into humans, with the Mummy and the Invisible Man, the Werewolf and Frankenstein. All their dynamics, I think it really works well in the film's favor, and they always had this kinetic energy to them that I think got a little bit lost in the previous sequels, but this one has some nice, really frenetic pace to it. They do slapstick and physical comedy very well throughout this show. And I like how the film mostly explores and focuses on Johnny and Dracula's relationship as they're going on this kind of road trip across the world, and the framing of their journey as a road trip kind of bonding session really works. And the film, for the most part, it's just that. It's fun gags with the new dynamics that these characters have and exploring the bouncing back and forth of their personalities. When the film wants to properly have jokes like clever quote-unquote puns, I think the little kids are going to enjoy it, but it can feel like a chore at times. But when it's doing the slapstick, the very aggressive physical comedy, that got quite a few laughs out of me. And the energy is also there in the animation. Visually, this is such a gorgeous film to look at, and the characterization on a visual standpoint is also much more refreshing than it has been since the previous film, where a lot of characters have just started to move the exact same way. They move at the exact same speed, react at the exact same way, so none of them have a distinct personality. In this one, they all have their own unique ways at reacting to things, at looking at things, at running around, at moving. So you know exactly, just by the way they move and they act to the world around them, react to the world around them, I should say, you know exactly who is who, and you can understand each of these characters' personalities. So on that, I was very happy and pleasantly surprised. That being said, the film on a script level doesn't really work. It has all these clever ideas, these interesting concepts, and while it gives a few laughs, it's just never as interesting as it could be. The biggest issue really is how the third act makes no sense. The third act is entirely forced, where something happens in the second act and the film should and could be over, but the writers forgot to have a third act, so they just shoehorn in a conflict that makes no sense within the rules that they establish in this film, but also kind of goes against the very premise of this entire franchise, of monsters who have this hotel because they're not necessarily monsters, they're not necessarily bad just because they're monsters. And so that third act puts just everything into question when it's focusing on Johnny and Drac and their journey to bond. It's interesting, again, fun gags, really enjoyable slapstick, but there's just nothing else beyond that. As a film, it's just very contrived. Hotel Transylvania Transformania is very watchable. It's a nice little 90 minutes spent in front of a screen. In fact, the film is 78 minutes long or something like that, because like the credits are long. If you enjoy just a simple animated film or have kids and need to distract them with something, you could do much worse. You could do much better, but you could do much worse. This is just a very pleasant, sometimes funny, and creative enough film. It's just that. It's good enough. It's watchable enough. It's competent enough. And I think it does the best any of these films have done since the original. I'm giving Hotel Transylvania Transformania a C. And those are my thoughts on Hotel Transylvania Transformania, the first animated film of the year. Thank you so much for watching, and thank my channel members Bruna and Stuart for making this video possible. There's a link in the description for you to see if you want to become a member. Check it out to see if it is for you. And I ranked the 2021 animated films in one video. I'll leave a link for that at the end of this one, and this will count for the 2022 animated movies ranking. I'll be back very soon with many other reviews, and I hope to see you on those. Thank you so much once more, and until the next one, love each other and love the movies.